Most people believe money is the goal, that if they just earn more, everything else will fall into place. But that belief is exactly what keeps them stuck. Because money doesn't change how people think. It only amplifies what's already there. If someone is anxious, more money makes them anxious at a higher level. If someone is impulsive, money disappears faster. If someone is insecure, money turns into performance. That's why you see people earning more than ever and feeling just as trapped. The real divide isn't rich versus poor. It's calm versus reactive. Most people live in reaction mode. They react to bills. They react to trends. They react to pressure. They react to what everyone else is doing. And they call that ambition. But ambition without control isn't ambition. It's panic with a schedule. Quiet wealth starts somewhere else entirely. It starts with how a person relates to time. People who struggle financially often think in short windows. This month, this expense, this win, this loss. Everything feels urgent because nothing feels stable. So they rush. They chase. They overwork the wrong things. They underwork the right ones. They're busy but never positioned. Wealthy thinking is slower, not lazy, not passive, just slower. Because when you think in longer time frames, urgency loses its power. You stop asking, how do I make more money right now? And you start asking, what system would make money inevitable over time? That single shift changes everything. Quiet wealth isn't built by intensity. It's built by consistency without emotional spikes. That's why loud effort is often a red flag. People who constantly announce how hard they're working are usually trying to convince themselves. The ones actually building something meaningful rarely feel the need to explain. They choose boring routines. They repeat unglamorous actions. They let results accumulate quietly. And because there's no drama, there's no audience. Which is why most people don't notice them until it's too late to compete. Another mistake people make is confusing income with independence. A high income with high dependency isn't freedom. If your lifestyle collapses the moment your income pauses, you don't own your life. You're renting it. Quiet wealth is about reducing fragility, lower emotional reactions, lower unnecessary expenses, lower dependency on external validation, higher patience, higher margin, higher optionality. That's why many truly wealthy people look unimpressive from the outside. They don't chase attention. They don't rush upgrades. They don't need to be seen winning. They're not playing the same game. Most people try to look successful first and become successful later. Quiet wealth flips that order. It builds substance first and lets appearance lag behind. That delay is uncomfortable. It feels like being invisible. It feels like being underestimated. But that discomfort is the price of control. If you can tolerate being early and unseen, you gain time. And time is the only asset that compounds everything else. This isn't advice for everyone. Some people need noise. They need urgency. They need pressure to function. But if you've ever felt like the world is too loud, too rushed, too obsessed with short-term wins, you're probably not lazy. You're probably just wired for a longer game. Quiet wealth isn't about escaping work. It's about escaping chaos. And once you see that difference, you can't unsee it. Most people never reach that point because they're taught to fear slowness. Slowness looks like falling behind when everyone else is moving fast. But speed without direction is just movement. And movement feels productive even when it isn't. That's why so many people exhaust themselves and still feel like nothing changes. They're running, but not toward anything stable. Quiet wealth requires a different relationship with pressure. Pressure tells you everything matters. Quiet wealth teaches you that most things don't. Not every opportunity deserves attention. Not every problem deserves energy. Not every opinion deserves a response. Learning what to ignore is more valuable than learning what to chase. Most people never practice that skill. They react to notifications. They react to headlines. They react to other people's timelines. And over time, their life stops feeling like something they're building and starts feeling like something that's happening to them. Quiet wealth restores authorship. It gives you the ability to decide what enters your mental space and what doesn't. That control doesn't look impressive. There's no visual proof of it, which is why it's rare. Another reason people struggle financially is because they confuse effort with leverage. They believe working harder automatically leads to better outcomes. But effort without leverage just burns energy faster. Quiet wealth looks for positions, not just tasks. It asks where effort multiplies instead of where effort is consumed. That's why the early stages often feel slow. You're not seeing immediate rewards because you're not trading time directly for money. You're building structures that don't need constant input to survive. Most people don't have the patience for that. They want feedback. They want validation. They want proof that today mattered. Quiet wealth delays feedback on purpose, because the absence of immediate reward filters out the impatient. And patience is a competitive advantage almost no one trains. People also underestimate how emotional most financial decisions are. Spending is emotional. Career choices are emotional. Risk tolerance is emotional. But quiet wealth treats emotions as signals, not commands. Feeling urgency doesn't mean act now. Feeling fear doesn't mean stop. Feeling excitement doesn't mean say yes. It means pause. That pause creates space, and space creates clarity. Most people never experience that clarity because they never slow down long enough. They fill silence with noise because silence feels uncomfortable. But silence is where strategy lives. Quiet wealth is built in that silence. It grows when no one is watching. It compounds when no one is applauding. And by the time it becomes visible, the work is already done. This is why chasing motivation rarely works. Motivation is loud. It spikes. It crashes. Quiet wealth doesn't rely on motivation. It relies on identity. It's the difference between saying, I'm trying to build something, and this is simply how I operate. Once behavior becomes identity, consistency stops being a struggle. And consistency over time beats intensity every single time. That's the part most people resist. Because consistency isn't exciting. It doesn't feel heroic. It doesn't make good stories. But it builds outcomes that look effortless from the outside. Which is ironic because nothing about it was easy. It was just calm. It was just patient. It was just quiet.